no-fault divorce. You may have heard this term and not really know exactly what that means. So this is a way to end a marriage without the need for one partner to prove like misconduct or something by the other partner. Adultery, abandonment, cruelty. You can claim simply irreconcilable differences, a breakdown of the marriage, and you can end the marriage that way, where there's technically no fault. And here's why this is important. So before this was adopted, divorcing spouses had to prove fault in order to be able to get a divorce. And this meant that a lot of women could not get out of relationships. And it is a means of control. The first U.S. state to introduce no-fault divorce was California, and that was in 1969. That was the very first. It was actually signed into law by Governor Ronald Reagan, and then it went into effect in 1970. So this paved the way for lots of other states, and by the 80s, most states had adopted some form of this. But I mean, this isn't that long ago. And this has had a huge impact on women's rights, much to, there's a lot of alpha males who don't want no-fault divorce to be allowed anymore. They want to walk it back because they want more control over women. So, this no-fault divorce reduced stigma and it lowered barriers. It was made more easy to get out of a marriage, more accessible to get out of a marriage. You didn't have the burden of proving legal fault. And this was very important in cases where abuse may be hard to prove. It helped women gain independence. It gave women the right to get out of something that wasn't healthy, and men, of course, but women were the one really most impacted. There's economic impacts. It made the process of getting a divorce easier, the division of assets and alimony and everything more equitable. So, it has been a positive thing for women. No-fault divorce led to changes in how custody was approached, with more emphasis on the best interest of the child and not necessarily favoring whoever is the innocent party, right? And it just, it shifted social norms because divorce became more attainable, more people divorced. I know people think there's too many divorces, that's a bad thing, but this really depends on, maybe if your stance is it is bad for the institution of marriage, if that's what you're defending, I guess. But if you're defending people's right to get out of unhealthy relationships and unhappy relationships, then I love the divorce rate. I know a lot of people are going to get mad about that. I don't love the divorce rate. I would love if more people were in marriages, staying in marriages by choice, and they were happy in them and satisfied in them. But if somebody is not happy, and if the relationship is not healthy, then I want anyone to be able to get the heck out of that relationship. I'm all about that. And walking that back is not healthy for women. It's not healthy for marriage. You may have more marriages. If you get rid of no-fault divorce, you may have more marriages, but that doesn't mean that you have more happiness in homes. It does not make more happy homes. So, and that's not happy for children either. Make no mistake. So, there's a lot of people that want to get rid of it, mostly people on the far right. So, be aware when you hear talk, because I'm hearing more and more rumblings from right now, more extreme right-wing people, but that doesn't mean that it can't become more mainstream. We've seen things like that happen recently. So, pay attention when you hear people talking about no-fault divorce, because what they're talking about is getting rid of it. And if you've ever been stuck in an unhealthy relationship of any kind, I know that you'll know that this is a bad thing.